Hi, David. It's your grandfather. I'm just wondering how you're doing, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit more. So, these stories are probably the ones I've sent so far, and that I will in the future, are things I hope you'll see later on when you're grown up and you can understand what I'm saying. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about my life, and I told you a little bit about my family, but I'm going to tell you about what happened to me when I was a little boy. I told you about how I used to walk to school every day to kindergarten, and that was at Pippin School in Sunnyvale. I don't think Pippin School's there anymore. It was probably destroyed and they put houses there. There used to be a tree at Pippin. Everybody in the whole area called it the Pippin tree. It was about 150 feet tall. It was a redwood tree. And we used to play soccer and football and baseball near the tree. And sometimes when we were bored with those games, we would climb the tree. And when we got to the top, you could see all of Sunnyvale. You could see the San Francisco Bay. You could see so many things, but it was very dangerous. Anyway, after I went to kindergarten, I went to St. Martin's Catholic School in Sunnyvale in first grade. And my first grade teacher was Sister Mary Pius. She was really nice, but very strict. So they wore black dresses with big black collars and long black scarves, and they taught us all about reading and writing and arithmetic and spelling. Excuse me. And they taught us about the Catholic religion. So, right now, in my later years as an adult, I one of the things you'll learn later on is to question authority and to think for yourself. And hopefully, you'll go to schools that help you to think critically of the world around you. And I've actually changed my beliefs from when I was a little boy. The Catholic nuns that I grew up with tended to try to frighten people into being good. That hell was going to be a place you go when you die, and that if you're not a good person on earth, that you're going to go to hell forever and burn. Well, those things aren't true. No. So, as you know, you don't remember anything before you were born, and that's just the same way it's going to be when you die. Only people that knew you are going to remember you, and your memory will live with them for as long as they're alive. So I'm hoping that my memory lives with you and that you learn how to be your own person, how to figure out things for yourself, to rely on people you love to help you understand the world. So in first grade, I can remember one day we had spelling. We used to have to do a spelling bee where we would stand up in the classroom along the chalkboard, and everyone would be in line, and you would get a chance to spell a word, and the teacher would call out the word and you would have to spell it. So I was pretty good at the short words and stuff, I mean, it wasn't that hard. But then one day I got the word astronomy, which seems pretty easy as an adult, but as a first grader I was really scared because I didn't know if I could spell it right. And I hesitated, and finally I said astronomy. Astromy. No, that is wrong, and I did it wrong this time. Astronomy. Astronomy. There, astronomy. Huh. So anyway, I got it right in first grade, and I didn't get it right when I'm 67. But that's okay. I do better when I write things than when I do them out loud. So that was just like one of my favorite memories. The other one was dodgeball. We got to play dodgeball on the playground on our recess, and I was pretty good at that because I could throw the ball pretty good. And I can remember getting hit in the face, right in the face with a ball, and I was upset and I kind of teared up, but I wouldn't cry in front of everybody else. And that's what made me decide that I wasn't going to let anybody throw the ball in my face anymore. And so I worked really hard at being a good dodgeball player. And lots of other things. We had a playground that had about a 15-foot tall gym, jungle gym. You could climb up on it, and a lot of people fell, broke their arms and stuff. And later on in the second grade, and I had a teacher named Sister Barbara Jean. She was really cool. She sang. She was a very good singer, and she taught us how to sing, and she was very enthusiastic. She was nice. I liked her. But in the third grade, we didn't have a nun. We had a teacher named Mrs. Ryan, and she was really mean. She is mean to everybody except for her her favorites, and I never was a favorite of hers. Anyway, what we used to do in the morning before school started, we'd all get there early, and as we were waiting for the bell to ring, and it was a lot of times in winter mornings when there was frost on the lawn, big field that we had there, and we would go and play British Bulldog, and that's where everybody would line up on one side of the field and run to the other, and the last person was in the middle. So that person would go out into the middle of the field, and everyone would run to the other side of the field past him, and he had to tackle whoever he could. And if you got tackled, you were in the middle with him. And you did that back and forth until there was just one person left to tackle, and there was everybody in the whole class going after that person. And a little blood was shed, bloody noses, people cried. But that was okay because that was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. That may be why I was a football player later in life. So we did that, and we also, in the morning when there was frost on the field, we would also ski. So we would take the hand of one person on both sides, and about 5 or 10 people on both sides would start running, and the person in the middle would keep their feet still, and they would ski on the frosty snow, and it was really a lot of fun. A lot of people got hurt doing that too, but it was a blast. So in fourth grade, I had Sister Mary Jean Therese, and she was really, really nice. And she taught us a lot of things. She taught us how to sing together, and mathematics and history, and always they had a religion class, and always it was about trying to put guilt on people, and later on I realized it. So anyway, it was kind of fun. And then in fifth grade, we had Sister Cecilia, and that was when Simon and Garfunkel's song Cecilia came out, and we used to sing it in the classroom, and we would kind of sing it to her. Not kind of we did, and she kind of liked it. And anyway, she was a good teacher. And then in one of our classes, we had a different sister or nun come in to teach one of our classes. And I can't remember her name, but she was old and very deliberate. She spoke softly and slowly, but she was very, and I would say, rather than religious, she was spiritual. And I think that's what I am in terms of religion. I'm not really religious, but I believe in the spirit of a person. And anyway, she took me aside one day after a few months of being in her classes, and she told me, Michael, what do you think about yourself? And I didn't know what to say. She goes, well, I think you're a leader. I think the other kids look up to you. And I think that you need to remember that if other people are looking up to you, that you should probably, and very much so, set a good example. So that really made me think and made me feel good that she thought I was a leader. Um, and I kind of became a leader a little bit sometimes, as best I could. And then in sixth grade, it was the first year we were allowed to play baseball for St. Martin's School. And I played baseball and I played third base and center field. And we won the championship 2 years in a row in fifth grade. I'm sorry, that's when we started, fifth grade and sixth grade. And then we had a new coach and manager of our team, Mr. Tom Sutter and Mr. Tim Farley. They were both really well known in Sunnyvale for being baseball and football coaches. And they coached us, and we won the championships again 2 years in a row. So 4 years in a row, we were champions of St. Martin's. Anyway, after St. Martin's, I went to St. Francis High School, and that was a really good experience. It really, I learned from a teacher who, one of them was named Mr. Tuitt, and he was very cool. He taught us about South Africa's apartheid. The name of his class was Western Culture. So apartheid, and you'll find this out later, was a form of slavery. And you'll also find out later that America was built by black people who never got paid. They were slaves and they were not free. They weren't allowed to have families. A lot of bad things happened to them, and it was a very, very violent and nasty thing. And there's still remnants of slavery in our society. Anyway, um, after St. Francis, my parents couldn't afford to send me there for 2 more years. So after my sophomore year, I went to Fremont High School in Sunnyvale, and I met a lot of the people that lived around me. Because when I went to St. Francis, that was a town away, and only people whose parents could afford to send them there would send them there. And so it gave me a really big leg up in a sense when I got to Fremont High School. And so I didn't have to take as many classes at Fremont, and I was able to do the work there really easily because I had learned so much at St. Francis in 2 years. So after that, I went to college. I went to De Anza College, and after I spent 2 years in De Anza College, I decided it was time for me to go to work. So I went into the grocery business, the same business my dad was in. He worked in grocery stores, and I worked in grocery stores. And the first one I worked in was his grocery store. But then I went to work for a car detailer, which was really hard work. I didn't like it. And then I worked for a company called Alpha Beta, which doesn't exist anymore. It was a grocery store. And I worked there for 2 years, and then I went to work for a place called Mary Manor Market. I worked there for 2 years, and that's where I met your grandma, Shelley. Her and I got married, and we had a baby, and her name was Natalie Blasquez, and the day she was born was the best day of my life. I was so proud of her, and she was such a beautiful young baby, and she had such a wonderful attitude, and she was so smart, and she played the piano, and later on she played basketball, and I was her basketball coach. And she wanted to be in karate. So one day we went to a kids festival in San Jose, and she saw a demonstration of West Coast Taekwondo, and she said she wanted to do that. And when I was a kid, I wanted to do karate, but I couldn't because my parents couldn't afford it because it cost money. So I told her mom, I said, I really want her to have what she wants because I never got to have it when I was a kid. So she enrolled in West Coast Taekwondo when she was 7 years old. And when she was 9 years old, she was a black belt in Taekwondo, and she was really good. She was very confident because of it, and she was very respectful, and she was selected to be part of the demonstration team where she would go with other students and demonstrate their skills in front of other schools and encourage other students to take karate. So one of the things that happened with her when she was young, she might not tell you this, is during her time at preschool, they used to have an Easter celebration, and everybody in the whole school would line up on the edge of the field, and the teachers had hidden Easter eggs in the lawn. And you couldn't see them because they let the grass grow for a couple of days extra, so it was easier to hide the eggs. The eggs had candy in them, and sometimes they had nickels and quarters and stuff like that. And there was one golden egg, and the person who found the golden egg got a beautiful prize of a stuffed animal, and it was a bunny. Of course, it was Easter. So Natalie actually found the golden egg on her first year. Out of about 200 students, she found the golden egg. And she was really happy, and we were very proud of her. And she actually, in the next year when they did the same thing, she found the golden egg again. She was so smart, she went looking for it. She didn't give up. She found it. That's your mom. She doesn't give up. And that's about all I got right now because this has been a long story. I'm going to take you on a story trip again pretty soon. And I know that you're having a good time being Deej David Ray Garcia Jr. because that's a great thing to be. Yeah, your mom is a great person, and I'm hoping you're having a great time every single day with her. So, I'll talk to you later. I love you, buddy, and give your mom a hug for me. Bye.